Hey everybody, I've got a really fun one for you today because this is a 1995 Dodge Ram 1500, and I think that the second generation Dodge Ram is the most important truck of all time. And this one is insanely cool. This is a 1995 with 46,000 miles on it, and I even have the original window sticker. MSRP of $24,262. And in this video, we are going over all the crazy gadgets and gizmos, and then we're gonna meet with the owner and find out a little bit about this vehicle's history. Let's get right into it. Let's be honest, most trucks throughout most of the 1900s looked the exact same way. Well, it was time for a new Ram, and development started in the mid-1980s, and they wanted to go with a modular architecture design. One design that could be used for an SUV, a van, and of course, the full-size pickup truck. Well, it got a nickname, the Louisville Slugger, and I have seen a picture of it, and it looks like an Econoline van from like the early 2000s with a bed. It was really pretty ugly. But the idea was that you could use that design across several different vehicles, so they went ahead with the design. It didn't fit the Cummins, it didn't fit the upcoming V10 they knew they wanted, but they still pushed forward. Well, eventually, Bob Lutz became the head of Chrysler, and he saw the design and said, no, it's horrible. Because it was kind of horrible. And he said, you've got 6 months to give me something better, to give me something a little bit more macho. And then in the early 1990s, they revealed the second gen Dodge. And this was a monstrous departure from pretty much any pickup truck on the road. Now, you said that this was bought by an older gentleman, brand new.
Yep.
And then it ended up at this dealer that you bought it from. So it's a one owner.
One owner. Well, now it's a two owner.
Now it's a two owner.
Now it's a two owner. I broke it in.
And this, I had to show that on camera because the original sticker is just so incredible.
Yes.
Now we're going down a bumpy road, and I'm amazed by how well this truck rides.
Yep, I definitely said it. It rides like it's a Cadillac on a cloud, man.
And
it really does.
The really interesting thing about it is, and I'm sure you've experienced this, if you ever shop for a second gen Dodge Ram,
yeah,
99% of them are clapped out.
Yeah, they got good use over the years. I mean, it's been 25, 26, 27 years since these came out, and they've been through their paces. So finding one that hasn't been, way modded out, or it's had, a bunch of deletes,
yep,
or someone's tried to make it a a mudding rig. It's definitely a challenge.
This front end design is iconic, and it is still, in my opinion, probably one of the best looking trucks ever, because they went for what they called the big rig design, where you've got the lower front fenders relative to the hood height. So the hood sits up nice and tall, but the fenders are low, and then the headlights are mounted fairly low, and then it's accentuated by this giant cross-haired grille in the front. Fantastic piece of design with these lines that kind of bring their way down to the Dodge emblem in the front. But this really became very iconic for Dodge, and to this day, if you look at a new Dodge Ram, or I should say a new Ram now, the design is really quite similar. Now, you do have a separated front end bumper with this chrome design and some little plastic finish here, but this really is what made these trucks so cool and so iconic. Another big improvement on this vehicle, the suspension design. Up front, you've got coil springs. Now, it still is a solid front axle, so you've got the stick axle in the front, great for articulation, lots and lots and lots of durability, but then you get a coil spring to help improve the on-road ride dynamics. Very smart thinking, and a very good design. Now, of course, later trucks went independent, and but right now, there's no such thing as a half-ton with a solid front axle, but I think this was a really kind of a sweet spot in old school meets new school. There were a lot of engine options available in the second gen Dodge truck. So you had a base V6, you had a couple of different V8s, and of course you had like the Cummins turbo diesel, but this is an interesting choice. This is not a small V8. So there was a 5.2, but this one is the 5.9 liter Dodge Magnum V8. And these engines developed right around 230 horsepower, but over 300 pound-feet of torque, so a very torquey engine, and actually very long-lived, so a lot of folks can get a lot of miles on these. Now, the transmissions typically were a little bit of a weak spot on these trucks. This one has 46,000 miles, so I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, but I do like these big engines, and if you were looking to tow heavy loads, you really did want the 5.9 over the 5.2 because of the added torque. Fuel economy, though, Well, we'll talk to the owner. Sounds like it's probably not fantastic. So the big eye-opener for me, I've driven a bunch of these second-gen Rams.
Yeah.
And every time I say the same thing, I'm like, wow, I mean, they drive nice, but the steering is so loose.
Yeah.
This is the first one I've ever driven where
it's fresh.
The steering is actually pretty tight.
It is.
So it turns out when they were new, they weren't super loose. It's just that over the years, as the solid front axle and the track bars and everything start to wear out over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's this is a beautiful example of one. And actually, like, it's got pretty good power.
Yeah.
But you said that the fuel economy is not fantastic.
Not fantastic. No, it is not.
What have you calculated it out to?
Well, the window sticker says that you'll get 11 in the city and 15 on the highway.
Yes.
Now, maybe you might get better on the highway, especially the trip I made today.
Yep.
It was pretty good. In the city, regular driving, running errands, going to work, coming back home, I had a full tank, ran it all the way down, calculated it to about 8.8 miles per gallon. So we're looking at original Hummer ranges.
The main reason in my mind the second-gen Ram is so important is this is one of the first times that a vehicle manufacturer realized that a pickup truck was being used for more than just like farm work or industrial work. They were being used to drive kids to school. They were being used to go out to dinner on the weekend. They were being used kind of like cars, and Ram realized that, and they added a lot of functionality to not only the bed but the cabin, which made living with them so much better. Now, this bed is enormously useful. This is an 8-foot model. They also had short bed versions, but you can see all sorts of little pockets in this bed liner here, which make it very, very usable for someone who works with their hands or works on a farm. You also have the little stake posts here, and in the back, very cool taillights with these little surrounds in applique across the tailgate, and then Dodge, of course, in turquoise because it was the 1990s. But overall, a very, very functional bed design. Now, the other thing I like about this, I think that Dodge did a really nice job with the interior.
Yeah, simple.
Simple, very simple.
But very comfortable compared to at the time when trucks were just boxy. Maybe you were lucky if you had air conditioning. You'd have to pay way extra for that.
All right, I'm going to do the little search of truth. It's clean! The dash is pretty clean.
Here's the one little crack right there.
So if you don't know, these second gens have a notorious issue where the dash kind of falls out of them.
Where there's
just grenade.
Either that or it's not even there.
Yeah, there's some where it gets so bad, the plastic gets so brittle that it just disintegrates.
Yep.
And that's a very clean example of a nice dash.
Yes.
It's apparent that there was a lot of thought given toward comfort, design, and functionality. Now, by modern standards, it looks pretty basic, but back in the day, this was a very high-tech looking dash and had a lot of great options. So let's take a look at the window sticker and kind of dive into some of those great features. So this is a Laramie SLT Advantage package. So you get premium decor group, you get a modular behind the seat storage, which we can check out, air conditioning as well, power windows and door lock, speed control and tilt steering. You get a tachometer, chrome wheels, which is nice, right? So lots of kind of nice little comfort features in here. We even have stuff like power adjustable seats, and these are a bench bucket design. So we've got buckets on the ends, and then of course a very functional bench there right in the middle. But I love these interiors, how just usable and functional they are. Full gauge group with tachometer, speed, fuel. You got your oil pressure, you got your voltage and your temperature. Over here, AC controls, super simple, easily laid out, very intuitive. Very hard to find AC controls as simple in a modern day truck. You've got a button here for your overdrive, fog lights. Let's check out the cup holders. So pull these out and you can see you've got a dual cup holder design there, which is quite nice. Over here, power outlet with a little feature that will hide it away, and then some venting. And then down here, you've got a little ashtray. But the steering wheel design, right? Steering wheel mounted cruise control down here. You got horn buttons. Give those a honk, they work great. Pretty attractive looking steering wheel on the door. Power door locks, power windows, and then up here is going to be your power mirror control. And then on the passenger side, no airbag on this 95 model, but you get air vents and a little bit of a storage cubby. But it's amazing how comfortable this interior is all these years later. And you get like a little computer up here with temperature controls, all that, which is a nice touch as well. So you've got a couple of little projects, right? You just bought it, so you're going to do the rear window, right?
Yeah, that's coming next week.
Yep, next week. And then I can't wait to see what it'll look like when it's black. It's going to be sick.
Oh, man,
Are you
definitely.
going to do lift, wheels, tires?
I'm keeping those stock wheels for sure.
Cool.
Because, I mean, There's no rust on the wheels. I'm gonna keep those. Those are nice.
They're beautiful.
I might even paint those black too. Definitely gonna do tires. I might do a lift somewhere way down the road. Don't really need to. Not any immediate plans to do that.
I was surprised by how tall the truck sits as it is.
Definitely, especially it being, you know, stock.
Yeah.
Definitely very surprising.
Now, when you look at the sticker, right, $24,000 and some change.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously a lot cheaper than what you buy a new truck for.
Yeah.
When you equate it out, though, it works out to like $47,000 after inflation.
Yep.
And when you consider, like, you know, some of the features you get in the newer trucks compared to the older ones, it's interesting that, you know, we know that new trucks are getting much more expensive. It's true. But you also get a lot more for them because this was still a very basic vehicle back in the day.
Yeah.
The advantage is, though, nowadays it's going to be easy to fix. It should be easier to keep on the road, right?
That's what I like. It's, you know, where if I am able to do the maintenance, I usually do.
Yeah.
That's why I like the older 90s styles and maybe early 2000s, because I can still do the work myself.
I love these trucks. They're just so cool. They look fantastic. They're getting quite collectible, actually. They're getting kind of hard to find. And one like this with low mileage is something really, truly special. But let me know what you think of the mighty V8 Magnum Ram 1500. A huge thank you to Phil for bringing it over here, and we'll see you on the next video.